What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. The day we all inevitably regret. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and break down this game for y'all, get into a little bit of the off season, and you know, do a wellness check on all the faithful. How y'all feeling? Your boys trying to hang in there. All right, y'all. Well, we're gonna get the show cracking, but before we do that, of course, we got to pay some bills. Today's episode is sponsored by Power Brand Systems. Need help getting new customers for your business? Let Power Brand Systems help you grow with their powerful tools. Visit powerbrandsystems.com/Niner Faithful Radio for more info. If you like our content and would like to support the show, consider leaving us a tip in our tip jar at ninerfaithfulradio.us/tip jar. Join our exclusive membership community where you get exclusive NFR content not available anywhere else. Join our exclusive chat, 20% off of all non-sale For the Faithful by the Faithful gear, and much more. Visit portal.ninerfaithfulradio.us/login to join.
For the Faithful by the Faithful Season 4 apparel is finally here. To see this year's designs and also save 20% off of Season 1 through 3 designs, go to ninerfaithfulradio.com/shop.
Follow us on social media at Niner Faithful Radio on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, and TikTok, and at Niner. Man, I see the chat's cracking. Ferry numero uno. What's cracking, Tommy? Terradome, good to see you, bro. Thank you for joining us. Sentinel, what's crack-a-lacking? He said, hurry up, sheesh. Whatever, Tommy. Gotta pay the bills. Helix, bats. Man, Tommy be on some other shit sometimes. Jason, I see you in the green room, rug. I'm sick. Great way to vary your vacation. Yeah, right. We'll definitely get into that. Yeah. That was a little bit down my priority list, but definitely on my priority list of the season. All right, y'all. Well, what's cracking, everybody in the chat? We're gonna go ahead and get the show rocking and rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, faithful of all ages, let's get the show cracking.
Weiss has just set a Super Bowl record with 12 catches. He's in motion. Montana, touchdown, John Taylor.
Niner Faithful Radio, the show hosted for the faithful, by the faithful, brought to you by Power Brand Systems.
What's cracking, Jason?
How's it going, my brother?
Trying to hang in there, bro. Like for some reason, I was actually kind of really pissed on Sunday. Like, I thought I was gonna have the attitude of like, look, I'm doing this because this is what I do. But when Jawan Jens got kicked out, bro, that got me fucking heated. Like I was, oh my god, bro. I've never said so many bitch niggas in my life.
I wasn't mad. I was happy. You know why?
Why?
Because he is setting the tone for next year. So if you can't deal with Juwan this year, I don't want to see your shit next year.
Oh, I mean, let's be real. Juwan got kicked out because he clearly saw that the refs clearly saw that he was just feeling to block him into the depths of hell, and everything like that. And he's like, all right, both teams are out of it. They ain't got nothing to lose. They ain't got to worry about, suspensions, and whatever. Let's just get this nigga the fuck out of here.
Because if they had left him in, it was going to get worse. Look,
it was.
The Cardinals defensive backs did not want any of the smoke. They were done for the year, and they're like, dude, like, can you chill? We're trying to fucking just make it till next season. And so that, so that's the problem with that.
it was, and I was, because it's like, look, the people who are watching this show right now live in the chat, and you and I, anybody associated with NFR, we're gonna watch the show because we're gonna watch the game because this is what we do. We watch the games. We don't miss games. But as far as the entertainment, take my Niner hat off. Entertainment value. What the fuck else was there to watch besides? Oh, is Juwan gonna get 1,000 yards? Is Nick Bosa gonna get his sack and 2 sacks or whatever it was? Is Leonard Floyd gonna get the 10 sacks? Is Kittle Corn gonna get his 2 touchdowns?
Yep.
What's up, Miss Veronica? How you doing? Oh, I also want to send a special shout out. I know there are probably some people watching the show for the first time. I want to say what's up. Thank y'all for watching. Say hello to all the pretty young ladies in pretty young lady land. But yeah, so just want to say what's up to everybody. But yeah, so that's what pissed me off, because you and I talked about, after that Yams game, we talked, and Bosa, I think, said it best when he said, we're going to find out who wants to be Niners over the next couple weeks. Right? That's what this game was about. Okay, who wants to be a Niner? Right? And we talked about the character of this team, and you and I both said after that Yams game, I just don't want to see or maybe it was after the Dolphins game, I just don't want to see my football team quit. You know what I'm saying? Like, the season is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. Whatever. I just don't want to see my football team quit. And you're going to take a player like Juwan Jennings, who, like you said, the Cardinals DBs were probably like, look, bro, like, we're fighting for playoff battles here. But that's just how Juwan plays. Anytime he's between those white lines, Juwan Jennings is going to give you that type of effort. And it just pissed me off because you robbed him for playing hard in the meaningless game.
Well, I think he's going to be all right. I know he was 25 yards short of his 1,000. But if you noticed, in Zamir, did it take him about an hour and a half to walk off the field? You're supposed to instantly leave the field. He took his sweet ass time leaving the field.
I was like chilling. He was sitting there waving to Niner.
Yeah, like he was dabbing up. He was getting the crowd going. Did you happen to see the handshake and the smile between him and Kyle?
I did not. I saw Kyle talking to him. They showed that on TV. I did not see.
I think that was because obviously at the rate he was going, he was going to get his 1K. I don't. There was no day. He said 25 yards. You'll be able to figure a way out to that.
He was probably going to get that drive.
It might have been the way things were going. Who knows? I think that was Kyle basically telling him, "Hey, man, I got you. I know you're out here busting your ass, all that kind of stuff. We'll get you whatever the bonus was." I didn't see where how much was or anything, but I think that was Kyle just telling him, "Look, I know you didn't get 1,000 yards, but we got you. We'll make sure you get paid."
Yeah. You know what? It's so funny that you mentioned that because that's exactly what I was thinking. Wasn't that Dion's first game back in Atlanta?
I want to say yes.
It was his first game back in Atlanta with us and everything like that. I mean, I don't remember the game. Like, let's be real, I was 8 years old, but I remember obviously growing up watching, not calling myself a Niner historian. I've seen that game and that clip a zillion times. Yes, I remember that.
Shout out to Andre Rising getting his house burned down with that left eye.
Bro, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. What's up, Crazy Juice? Good thing they made.
What up, Crazy?
Providing Cider. Yeah, we're going to get into that and everything like that. Matter of fact, let's just not bury the lead any longer. I want to give you the team 2024 team awards. So the Len Eshmont Award goes to one Mr. George Kittle. This is the most prestigious award that the Niners give out, is the Len Eshmont Award. The Len Eshmont Award is voted on by the players and given to the 49er who best exemplifies the inspirational and courageous play of Len Eshmont, an original member of the 46 Niners team. Eshmont, who coached at the Navy of Virginia following his career in San Francisco, died in 1957. The award was established that year. The Bill Walsh Award goes to one Mr. Fred Warner. The Bill Walsh Award was established in 2004 in honor of the Niners' Hall of Fame head coach. The award, which is voted on by the coaching staff, is given to the 49er who best represents the standard of professionalism, excellence established by Bill Walsh. Walsh served as his team head coach for 10 seasons. Yeah, we all know what Bill Walsh did his tenure. The Bob McKittrick Award goes to Jake Brendel. Yeah, I got
look,
that one.
That one is supposed to be based on sacrifice. Well, he did a whole lot of sacrificing to Brock.
Right. The Bob McKittrick Award is given annually to the 49ers lineman who best represents the courage, intensity, and sacrifice displayed by the longtime Niners offensive line coach. During his 21 years of service to the 49ers, the award was established by the Niners in 1999 and is voted by offensive line. I mean, what up? What up, Terradome? Let me see. I remember that being the first time I was your age 2 Niner faithful. Yeah. Led by example. Yeah, I know. I know, Terradome. Maybe they got a rule not giving it to rookies, or I don't know, give it to Trent. Like,
I would have given it to like Charlie Heck just for the heck of it because he's the newest guy. At least he did something. Like I said, Brendel had the best seats in the house for every game, considering the fact that for most of especially like the last 8 games of the year, he was on his ass at least 4 or 5 times every single game watching Brock get sacked. So, I mean, great seats when you think about it. You're on the field.
I mean,
it's interactive at that point.
Bruh. Like Bob McKittrick, Jake Brendel, like he might have won the times you almost got your quarterback to fucking capitated year award. I mean, he was. What frustrates me most about this is for y'all who watched the season preview show. I said that the reason I picked Dominic Pooney, and we'll do our awards next week, but the reason I said Dominic Pooney was going to be Rookie of the Year was because I said if he can turn our weakness, and even I didn't say turn it into strength, just make it comparable. I really thought this team was going to win a championship. And not only did he make our biggest weakness on the team last year comparable, he made it a strength. Like Dominic Pooney is one of the reasons why you have optimism going into 2025. You know, despite whoever we're bringing back, whoever we lose, you can definitely say, hey, we got right guard figured out. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so the Matt Hazeltine Award, Ironman Award is named from former linebacker Matt Hazeltine, a 13-year performer who played more seasons at linebacker than any other 49ers player. Known for his durability and dedication, Hazeltine passed away in 1987 from ALS, and Bill Walsh established the award in his honor that year. The award is given annually to the most courageous and inspirational defensive player as voted on by the defensive coaches. Yeah. Like, man who plays with a fucking fractured ankle since, what was it, Jason? Week 3? Week 4?
Week 3 or 4.
I know he either aggravated it or initially got the – I want to say – I know he heard it in the Yams game. I don't know if that's when he broke it. Part of me wants to think he broke it in scoring that touchdown against the Patriots. But basically, either week 3 or 4. I mean, you saw.
Did he dive into that one?
Yeah. That's the one he dived in the end zone. You saw when Fred Warner, who clearly was in pain, and his hip was bothering him. He's walking around limping. They're screaming at him to get off of the game, and Fred Warner ain't even acknowledging them.
No, he went like this. He's like,
oh, I didn't see that. I just saw him straight standing there. Like, no, nigga.
He kind of just shoved them off on us. His hand was down. He was just like, go away. I got this.
And perfect microcosm for this season. See, I think with Dominic Pooney, Terror Dome, I think the reason he didn't get the Pro Bowl is because they're going to say do it again. Kind of like, Fred Warner, we were calling him All Pro Fred before he got an actual All Pro. Yeah, God, everybody's just killing Jake Brendel today.
Well, he
no.
got Brock killed enough times, so I mean, take it.
Wasn't he the one that gave up the sack that got Brock hurt in the Lions game?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but no, Fred Warner. I mean, Jason, thoughts? Fred Warner.
I mean, he's the man. I mean, what else do you want him to do? He tried. He was playing so hard because he had to cover for the player who formerly wore number 59 that he hurt himself, and he had to keep playing hurt and just to keep everything up afloat because of how bad the former number 59 was. So, I mean, more props to him.
Yeah. I think TJ loves Brendo. Oh my God, bro. I try not to roast players just because, let's be real. Jake Brendel's 50 million times better at football than I'll ever be or ever was. But it's very hard to do when you're about to get my fucking quarterback killed, especially as a former O lineman. Like that's just bred in us. I'm pretty sure, Jason, playing O line yourself, it's just bred into you that nobody touches your quarterback, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody messes with the QB. So yeah, I get a little emotional. Yes, he was. We were screaming it on the show. I think if he doesn't break his ankle, I think he is Defensive Player of the Year. And I think this defense is 50 million times worse or 50 million times better.
Yeah, he just, not that he ran out of gas. He just,
the man was carrying the defense on one fucking leg.
Yeah, it's like, at some point you run out of everything when you're doing it with one damn foot. So, I mean, I can't complain after a while. It's like, okay, you're out there doing your thing.
If you go back, I want to say it was like their third touchdown or something like that. It was right by the goal line, and somebody blew a coverage, and Fred Warner was running over there to try to cover it and make the mistake and everything, and they still scored, got the touchdown, or maybe it was a first down. And that was a kamikaze, or that was the season in a nutshell. Fred Warner basically running around the whole field trying to save the defense single-handedly. Real quick, we're going to wrap up the team awards. Thomas Heron Memorial Award, safety Malik Mustafa. The award was established in 2005 by 49ers owners Denise and John York and presented to the rookie or first-year player who best represents the dream of Thomas Heron. The recipient has taken advantage of every opportunity, turned it into a positive situation, and made their dream into reality. The award is voted on by the coaches. I agree with that one. Malik, yet again, another player that I wouldn't say you're super optimistic. I'm not going to say you're thinking Hall of Fame career or Pro Bowl or All Pro or anything crazy, but I will say this: safety, we got bigger needs on the team than safety next year, especially if you re-sign Huff.
If we don't re-sign Huff, then it is a big issue. But if we re-sign it, I'm completely okay with those two going forward.
Next, Ed Block Courage Award. Ricky Pearsall, the Ed Block Courage Award is named after Ed Block, the former head athletic trainer of the Baltimore Colts of 23 years. Block was a pioneer in professionalism and respected humanitarian whose most passionate cause was helping children of abuse. The award is presented in his name each year to the player that emphasized the commitment to sportsmanship and courage. Ed Block Courage Award winners from each 32 NFL teams are honored at a banquet in Baltimore, Maryland. All proceeds from the award go to the Ed Block Courage Award Foundation's Courage House Natural Sports Network. Named after an NFL team in a representative city, the Courage House is a facility that provides support and quality care for abused children and families in the community. The 49ers dedicated the Courage House in October 2003 at Edwards House in San Francisco. No problem with this one. The man, I mean, like, let's be real, bro. The man, like, we can say this, Jason, because the season's over. Ricky Pearsall getting shot in the chest should have fucking gave us a lot of warning signs about how the year was going to be, bro. Like, the man almost fucking died. Yes, you get a courage award if you almost fucking die. And not even
Yeah.
like the most gangster shit ever. You walk yourself and get in the gurney in the ambulance your fucking self. Most gangster shit of all time.
Yeah.
Hold on, we got some. Brendel should be gotten the spectator year of the award as well. Watching Pooty pick up his man while he sits on his pants. Oh my god, I can't say it here while I sit. No. Oh god, Lawrence sent it to me after the show. After I was trying to. Huff transitioned to linebacker.
I'm not against it.
That's it's pretty damn interesting. Greg Greenlaw and both college safeties. That is true. That is true.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against Huff transitioning to like a hybrid safety / linebacker position.
Transiting to another team. I mean, look, I was at that Yams game, bruh. Okay, that shit just was on a different level. Now, of course, was it mainly Dre Greenlaw? Of course. If you put a gun to my head and said you could only bring back one, you're bringing back Dre. Like, it's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Which I'll let Jason talk about that in a second.
What?
Yeah, fuck 2024, bruh. Hold on. Curtis Robinson won the Perry Yosemite Humanity Unity Award. Yomini. It's presented to the 49ers player who exhibits an exceptional commitment to providing unity within the team and the community. The award is named for former 49er players and pioneer of unity diversity, Joe the Jet Perry and Wally Yomini, as is voted on by the players. And then
What up, Carcast?
Spencer Burford won Community Relations Service Award. Our Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee is Curtis Robinson. The Gary Niver Award. The Gary Niver Award is presented annually by the San Francisco chapter of the Pro Football Writers of America to the 49ers player for cooperation and professionalism in helping with pro football writers do their job. The award is named after pro football writer Gary Naver, who was a longtime beat writer and who covered for the 49ers for the San Mateo time. George Kittle won that. Joe the Jet Hall of Famer. Yes, he is.
Basically, the Niver Award is basically giving out to the one the beat writers like the most. You know, which
Tommy really wants Jair to go back to safety. Yeah. So we'll get into that. So that's our team awards. Congratulations to everybody except Jake Brendel because you deserve that shit. So Jason, what was explain the whole Drake Greenlaw, Fred Warner thing that you sent this morning?
Oh, basically they were like having almost like a see you later party because like, I didn't know that Dre and Fred were like next door neighbors. They were next door neighbors for years. Apparently they're saying goodbye to each other, all this other kind of stuff. So I mean, and they're basically thinking Dre's out the door, that we're not going to be able to afford it.
I mean, Fred would know. That
means they have already talked to Dre and be like, look, man, we can't afford you. And yes, it was the $1 million backfield, I want to say.
Yeah, I believe the entire $1 million backfield are all in the Hall of Fame.
So it seems to be that, you know, maybe they've already had some sort of their season-ending meetings with Dre.
Oh yeah,
and I don't know if they had. Well, I know they've done some. I don't know if they've done everybody though yet. But it seems to like thinking that they told Dre, look, man, we can't afford you. You know, you make $10 million. The only way we can afford you next year is if you take a pay cut down to $6 million. Would you be willing to do that? No. Okay, then we're not going to resign you. Thank you for your service, kind of a thing. That's the only way it makes any sense that they already told him that.
And I want to make sure I say this because, you know, we've like after that Yams game, I would have signed him right after that game. Like, here you go, Dre. Here's a contract. Sign on the dotted line. I shouldn't say whatever you want, but see, I don't think we need to completely rebuild. I think you add a piece or two here and, some complementary pieces, and especially, people talk about the lack of production from this D line, but they forget how much time Jordan Elliott missed. They forget, Kevin Givens missed time. The problem with the defense is, name me a time besides, the first couple weeks of the year. Name me a time that this defense had all their damn dudes on defense.
I don't think that was the problem. I really don't. I think it's because there was so little any sort of creativity for anything on the offense. I mean, calling this a vanilla defense is pretty much is an insult to a vanilla defense. There was no creativity. There was no blitzing, hardly any stunting of a D lineman. So I don't think it was necessarily that we didn't have all of our guys there. We did nothing with the people that we had on the field.
Yeah, John Henry Johnson, Joe DeJet, Hugh McElhenney, and Y.A. Tittle. Okay, cool. Yeah, like gush about him from back in the day and say like he was a damn dude. Anyway, I agree with you, Jason. I agree with you. The fact is now, I will say this. I think this team's a team in transition. And I think everybody in their mind is expecting this to be 2019, even 2020 was a top 10 defense. People seem to forget that. The second half of 21, 22. I think everybody expects it to be like these defenses. And I think this team has transitioned into more of an offensive driven team. The problem is that the offense was putting the defense in such fucking horrible positions all year. Like think about it, Jason. We lost a game that the defense literally gave up 4 fucking field goals. Think about that, bruh. 4 fucking field goals.
Or was the special teams that couldn't do shit and kept putting us in bad positions on top of it?
I mean, so obviously you kind of take yesterday's game with a grain of salt and everything like that. But if you ask me, priorities of the Niners offseason, obviously sign Brock, extend Fred Warner and George Kittle. You can lower their cap hits. Don't make them go into lame duck years. And you send a message of, hey, these are fucking Niners, right? We've already said you and I are going to discuss this offseason. Fred Warner, best linebacker in team history. You and I both have came on Sarah. You've been saying it a lot longer than me. George Kittle is the best tight end in NFL history. There's no reason for those two players to ever play in another stadium besides, or another uniform besides red and gold. Ever. There's never.
Well, George basically said it. He doesn't want to play for anybody else.
Yeah, George said, because they asked him about an extension. He said, look, if the front office, I'm listening, and he goes, what do I want? He goes, I want to play the rest of my career in red and gold. He goes, I never want to go. And which is, I told you. Now, I've come on air a long time and said I thought George Kittle was going to finish his career in Nashville with the Titans. The only thing I said that was a saving grace was the fact of that we know how close George Kittle was to Joe Staley. And that was something huge. Why do the Niners love Joe? Yeah, he was a great player, all that. Why do Niner fans love Joe Staley so much? Because Joe Staley loved being a Niner. Joe Staley never hid the fact of that he was like, look, I want to finish my career here. I love being a Niner. I love everything about being a Niner. I was there the state of the franchise when they announced he signed his last contract, and he was getting emotional and everything like that. That's the only thing. Image that they use in the greatest chapter of the greatest 49ers. So it's you extend George Kittle, you extend Fred Warner, obviously Brock Purdy. Next is take fucking special teams seriously. Jason, Special teams cost us both of the games against the Seahawks in 2021, which is probably the reason we don't win the division. And I'm sorry, we beat the Yams if that game's at Levi's instead of fucking Levi South.
We had the negative 47-point differential because of special teams, worse than the NFL. The next worst was the Falcons at negative 24.
You got
we take that half. We're a 500 team.
What you figure? You got the Vikings game. You got the Cardinal game in the sense of Jake Moody has to make that tackle and gets the high ankle sprain. And look, I'm not against getting rid of Jake Moody, but you can't deny that the ankle. He was what was it, 12 of 13 before the high ankle sprain? There's a high ankle sprain. There's a game in Minnesota. There's a game against the Yams that flipped on a fucking fake punt, and then there's the game on Sunday that flipped on a fake punt. This special teams have cost this football team too many fucking games.
Mm-hmm.
So yes,
Kyle needs to not stop saying that. I just don't want you to make mistakes. No, that's how you make mistakes because you're not putting emphasis on it. You need to do shit with it.
Well, yeah, Joe. I'm not denying that Joe Staley was a great player, but what made him beloved, and everything like that, was his dedication to the Niners. Miss Veronica, bye Booty Moody. Fucking, you know what? I think you secretly want Jake to stay on the team just because you want to say Booty Moody. Hello, I found that Jake Moody is old.
Yeah, he was. He was one of the people. Yep. He's the one who set up the tryout and all that kind of stuff. So. I mean, and then it's not coincidental that, as Moody got worse, he got, his seat got hotter and hotter and hotter, and to where he's gone.
I mean, you saw this coming, right? Like anybody with any type of vision, not even 2020. I don't know what the worst type of vision you can have without legally being blind, but even a person with that type of vision could see that Brian Snyder was getting fired.
I mean, not getting rid of Schneider, we can go to the whole Sorensen thing later, but if you don't get rid of Schneider, at that point, that's just straight up malpractice. I mean, you've got the literal worst. And what's funny is because when Schneider was up here in Seattle, the Seahawks had a fucking amazing special teams.
Well, why? Probably because Pete Carroll took special fucking teams seriously.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny that, he went from having a special teams that was pretty good up here in Seattle to down there. All of a sudden, we go down there, and now he can't do shit when it comes to special teams.
Yeah. Okay, cool, Terradome. You could tell me it's Joe Smo from around the fucking corner. Can he draw up special teams? Are we going to, after getting burned, after what made it so embarrassing is like, look, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? To not have the punt safe out there, like, you know what I'm saying? To get beat by the same mistake is inexcusable, bruh. It's inexcusable. Evan Anderson. You know what? I'm a huge Evan Anderson guy. I want to keep the price plus of the D line.
All season long, I was pumping Evan Anderson up.
I honestly, I think, see, everybody keeps on talking about D tackle. Apparently, Hargraves is essentially going to be a free agent, and the Niners have said they want to re-sign him. Maybe not at $20 million a year, but the Niners are interested in re-signing Hargrave. I think, except your alpha, let's be real, this team has been trying to replace Defoe ever since Defoe left, right? But everybody talking about we need a run-stopping defensive tackle and everything like that. No, you don't. You got Evan Anderson. As long as he can stay healthy, I think the run D is going to be fine.
But I still want the guy I really like is Darrell Jackson, defensive tackle out of Florida State. I know you're not going to like to hear that, but
I was reading Terradome's comment.
As far as like getting a defensive tackle in the draft, one of the guys I'm really liking is Darrell Jackson, DT out of Florida State.
Florida State.
That's what it says. Like, you would like. I know you won't like that one, but he's big bodied. He sucks up blocks, all that kind of stuff. He's the kind of guy that I want. I don't want necessarily someone that's going to make a big player or make big plays. I don't give a damn if my defensive tackles get sacks. I want my defensive tackles to just suck up blocks. That way the linebackers behind them can make the tackles. I want one guy to get double teamed every play because then you have to also double team both at the same time. So
yeah, it's what have I said about the draft? And I know we're not quite in the draft season yet.
We're not.
I mean, we haven't talked about we haven't gotten into the draft yet. Besides our first round pick, I don't want a person with the A+ ceiling and a D- floor. I'd rather have a player with a B- ceiling, but like a C- floor, a D. You know what I'm saying? I don't need.
We had this conversation. We disagree on it.
Well, yeah, but I don't need a million players with the first round pick. I understand. Like a pick number 11 needs to be a starter. Somebody we can build the interior of the defensive line around, or the linebacking core, or the secondary, or the O-line, or whatever position that we decide to address. I'm not against that. But when you get to rounds, I don't even want to say 2, because on 2, I'm kind of still, I need a player in round 2. But
anything after 3, I would agree with you. 4, 5, 6, 7, yes.
Yeah.
But first 3 rounds, no.
Which is honestly where we make our hay.
Yeah.
But
we shouldn't. We should be hitting in these first rounds.
Well, I mean, when you pick George Kittle in the 5th round, I mean,
I know. I'm saying we need to be hitting on these first round draft picks a lot more than even hideous.
Yes. Well, that's one of the things I want to get into more detail of next year. Is that I think one of the biggest issues and why you saw 2024 end up the way it was is the failure of the 21 draft, of the 22 draft, of the 23 draft to give us the necessary depth once CMC got hurt. That's missing on Trey Sermon. When John Feliciano.
Who was the other guy that we got? Who was the guy that running back from LSU? I can't remember his name.
Elijah Mitchell. Oh no, he wasn't from LSU. Who was it from?
The other one that we got rid of in the third round draft. It was a year after we took Trey. We got
I know who you're talking about. I cannot remember the name of it. I cannot remember his name, but yeah,
I don't think he even made it out of training camp.
Yeah. When you saw Jake Breno get hurt, or Aaron Banks get hurt, or whatever, Dominic Pooney didn't get hurt, thank God. That's the failure of the 21, 22, 23, 24 draft. That's the failure of Aaron Banks being a difference maker. When you saw Huff go down, that's the failure of Jair Brown being a difference maker.
Ty Davis Price.
There you go.
I had to go look it up because it was
TDP. I could not remember it for the life of me. But yeah, okay, CMC gets hurt. That's a failure on TDP and Elijah Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? I understand
I love our running back room right now, man. I like it.
I love our running back room. I'm not. That's what I'm saying. But okay. Let me rephrase it then. When CMC and Jordan Mason went down, that's when you saw the failure of Trey Sermon, of TDP, being flops. So that's one of the biggest things. I love Kittle Corn, national treasure right there. When you meet him, he truly exactly what you remember. George, you remember my skirt. I always wondered if Kittle Corn's going to remember my my box of Kittle Corn. Maybe I'll bust that out on a show here. I've always wondered that. Not necessarily that he remembers me, but that's such a unique thing that you would think that you would remember that.
I'm surprised Kittle wasn't at Monday Night Raw last night. I really am surprised about that. For those that don't know, WWE moved Raw to Netflix. And last night was the flagship episode. And so, they brought everybody out. It was all hoopla and everything. And it was in L.A. So I'm really surprised Kittle was not there last night.
Yeah, I thought Kittle Corn would be all over that.
Here's a stat for you.
But yeah, go ahead.
Deebo Samuels, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, and Christian McCaffrey were never on the field together at the same time this season.
Yeah, I told you.
That is insane.
So you would say, what are the failures of the offense in 2024? you and I sat here and bitched about Debo and said, Jason, how much of our offense has been given to Debo and have him break 50 tackles,
Yep.
and everything like that, and the failure of Kyle to adjust throughout the year. But that right there, what you just said, I think is a huge part of it. Is a huge part
Yeah.
of it. Is when you say majority of the best offense in the league was not on the field together, which is part of what made this offense so different. How many times did we get on the show last year, Jason, and say, look, you may have the D to line up with Debo. You may have the D to line up with Debo and BA. You may have the D to line up with Debo, BA, and Kittlecorn. But you're not going to have the D to stop Debo, BA, Kittlecorn, CMC, Juwan Jennings. Just teams are not going to have most teams aren't going to have the defensive players and the skills to handle all that.
Yeah, you're playing Russian roulette because at some point, okay, we'll match you. Oh, we'll match you again. Oh, we'll keep. You want to keep playing this game? How far down can you know? How deep can you go down here?
And it was the ability of, you had to deal with the physicality of Debo. And all of a sudden it came to the third and fourth quarter. You've been chasing and tackling Debo's ass all game, and all of a sudden now here comes CMC on that. And it was the ability of that was
George is running you over. Debo's running you over. BA's running past you.
Yeah,
CMC is going everywhere.
The fucking next zip code.
Yep. Oh, and then there's this Jordan Mason guy who loves hitting, who's probably the hardest runner out of everybody. We just don't use him that much.
Yeah, I mean, that's in the 2 honest. Some guy Clinton was at double D. The next time I see San Francisco 49, they better
I mean, I don't mind if they're there. I mean, it's their off time. I'm not against.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, bro. I get what you're saying, and I lightweight agree with you in the sense, but like personal time is personal time, bro. And Jason and I have talked about it. Let's be real. What do I do? I go to training camp pretty much every day, and do a show. And yeah, the shows can be exhausting, and it's a lot of hard work. Y'all don't see all the behind the scenes shit Jason and I and Jamie and Kim work on and everything. It's a lot of work, but it's nothing near what the players put into. And Jason and I said, look, obviously we would all love to be able to get talking about the Niners bye week, and getting ready for a game. I would love to be able to figure out how the fuck I could afford playoff tickets. Like, I would love nothing more than trying to figure out right now how I could afford playoff tickets this year. Right? But Jason and I both said it. It's nice to get a little break, bro. Like, I hurt now, but come like second, third week of February, it's going to be nice to have a little bit of a break. It's going to be nice to sit there and relax. And like Jason said, I actually have to spend time with my wife now,
Look, I bought a game on my Xbox, Baldur's Gate 3, the week before the season started. And it is sat on my Xbox. And I've only played maybe 30 minutes of this game the entire season. Like, I started, and I know because it's one of those games, you can't get it. Like, if you start it, you're going to get deep into it. So it is just sat on my Xbox for about a year, almost a year now. And I have been waiting to play it. I finally fired it up this weekend. I'm like, oh, this game is so good.
Yeah.
But like, I've been too busy. So I'm just like, but this has been so nice. I'm sitting down. Like I said, I remember my wife's first name, all that kind of stuff now, I remember I have a dog.
Yeah.
There's a cat somewhere in the house. I got more fish.
You know what? It's a little motivating, bruh. It's a little bit motivating. I gotta if come holler at me if you want to see, a pissed off George Kittle, a pissed off embarrassed Kyle Shanahan, a pissed off CMC, a pissed off Juwan. I think these are things that are going to be pay dividends, especially considering that last place schedule. There's 5 teams against last place teams, and another, I believe it's 4 against third place teams. That's 9. That's 9 games, y'all. Please tell me if the Niners are the team we think they're going to be next year. you should easily go 9-0.
And the quarterbacks aren't that great either. That's the thing. Is like we might
Yeah.
be playing bad teams, but the quarterbacks we're playing against ain't that good.
And so, I mean, if you tell me the Niners can go 9-0 in those games, and all we have to do is go 500 in the rest of the four, and we're at 13-4, come on, bruh. Holla at your boy. Holla at your boy. Like, I definitely see a path next year for the Niners to go, 13-4, 14-3. And you know what? If that doesn't get us the 1 seed, then you tip your cap and you say, Jason, where are you on standing of the reseeding? This has been a great debate in my house with Kathy being a Vikings fan.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about how they were 14-3 and the 5th seed, and you have a team like the Yams and the Buccaneers who are 10-7, or the year that the Sheacocks made it at 8-9, and everything like that. Where are you standing on the reseeding and it actually being your record, which determines your seed?
I'm fine with it as long as we keep divisions. If we get rid of divisions, then we obviously if you reseed, then it's useless to have the divisions. At that point, you just do like the NBA kind of you go East West.
Yeah.
But as long as we are going to keep NFC West, NFC South, then we have to keep it because you have to make winning a division worth something. And yes, it sucks, but guess what? Maybe you should have won that extra game.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like, look,
so
I understand this. And look, nobody would be pissed if the Niners missed the playoffs. If a team makes it at 5, well, you can't get 500 anymore. But if a team makes it at 8-9 and the Niners are 12-5 and miss the playoffs, and everything like that, of course I'm going to be pissed. But at the end of the day, you control your destiny. You know what I would tell? I would tell any Lions fan, how about beat the Lions once or twice? You beat them 1 or 2 times.
Was it the Patriots that went 11-5 and didn't make the playoffs one year?
I think they went 12-4.
Was it 12? It was something ridiculous, and I was just like, well, I mean, and that proves it right there. Yeah, it sucks, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, maybe only lose 3 games, and everything. This is why they say every game in the NFL matters. This is why they say that until they matter until they don't. They matter until they don't. So, what did you think about Clay Kubiak and the way that the game plan was called? I win every game.
I liked that we were seeing things we hadn't seen before, but that's the extent of it. I mean, he does that in the preseason. I don't expect to see Kyle give up play calling.
If that game mattered, Kyle's not giving up the play calling.
Exactly. So, I mean, I don't want to say that was Kyle's way of checking out, but I think he just wanted to give somebody else a chance because, maybe he has aspirations to be an actual play calling offensive coordinator. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get that chance here, obviously. So give him a chance to show what he can do.
I think it was let me because obviously his dad gave Kyle. I don't want to say his dad obviously hired him as offensive coordinator and everything like that. So I think it's let me prep you in order to further on your career, or that means he gets the offensive coordinator, which before this year, I would have told you Kyle Shanahan not calling the plays would be a disservice to the Niners. After this year, I remember an old school football coach who coaches Pee Wee and high school football that I know pretty kind of well. But I really respect his football opinion. The man was personal friends with Bill Walsh, had football conversations with Bill Walsh. And I looked at him, and this is when Kyle first got hired. And I said, what do you think about Kyle not having an offensive coordinator? And he looked at me and he said, who in your mind is the best coach in NFL history? I said, Bill Walsh. He goes, did Bill Walsh have an offensive coordinator? And I go, yeah. He goes, what does that tell you? And so I have been defended Kyle and saying he was hired as head coach as his ability to scheme an offense and to play call. I believe that's one of the strengths of Kyle Shanahan, and to not put that in use for the Niners is a disservice to the organization and the football team. After this year, I don't know. I don't. This is the first time. You know me, Jason. I've been a staunch defender of Kyle Shanahan and John. But after this year, I'm going to definitely say I still believe. It's like why I think Nick Sorensen will be retained as defensive coordinator, unless Robert Saleh, Jeff Ulbrich, some of the names that we've discussed. Why is because give me somebody better. So fine, you want to fire Kyle? Okay, cool. Give me somebody better.
And so you can't really use that with Sorensen. I can give you 50 names right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
what
I'm saying with Kyle, just with Kyle in general. Give me somebody better than Kyle Shanahan. Cool. You want to tell me the Niners have the ability to hire Andy Reid? I'm willing to listen to that. Ben Johnson? Okay, you can start having a conversation. Eric Bieniemy?
No.
I was going to say that
not
one.
Even close.
That one I'm going to take a step back on because Patrick Mahomes,
I'm not even looking at it. We've seen what Bieniemy has done without having Andy Reid look over his shoulder. So I'm completely out on Bieniemy now.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So these are some of the names that would at least get me to listen. Ultimately, so I'm still a defender of Kyle Shanahan in the sense of that. Yes, I do believe he's our best option going forward as head coach, and I've seen it. I've seen him take this offense to heights that I only seen in my dreams, Jason.
But
I've also seen him clam up in the biggest games of his career. So
it hasn't evolved. We're running the same offense as we were in 2017. Nothing has changed except for the players. There's no new wrinkles in it or anything.
And I think my only concern with Kyle is that Bill Walsh used to say that you should never stay anywhere more than 10 years. This is year 8 for Kyle. So that's my only concern with Kyle is, look, great offensive coordinator and everything like that. Yeah, but you've been damn near here a decade. Like, let's not act like Kyle was just hired last year or some shit like that. It's been a minute. And not saying that he's a bad head coach, but, like, what's he going to do? We have to move on. We're going to have to move, mutually part ways, whatever the fuck you want to say. So, you know what I'm saying? If not, I'm not saying now, but, like, when? 6 years from now, 15 years from now. Like, these are starting conversations.
How good we're doing. We go back to the Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl, we'll get back to the NFC Championship game. The whole conversation changes. Everybody's pissed right now because we suck.
It does.
We've had, tempers are a little bit higher, emotions are running a little wild right now. Next year, we go back to the Super Bowl, win, lose, or draw, or at least get back to the NFC Championship game to where we're competitive, and we're back to like how things were last year before. 95% of this conversation goes away. Now it's still going to be there because you have the Kyle can't win the big one conversation, but it's not going to be nearly as bad.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sentinel. No, I agree with you, Jason, except I slightly will disagree with you because I feel that if Kyle does not win a championship next year, even if we take it to overtime in the Super Bowl again, right? I think there will always be the people who say he can't win the big one until he does. Oh, yeah. What do people say about Andy Reid? See, you and I are old enough to remember Andy Reid coaching for the Eagles.
Same conversation from 20 years ago.
Same exact shit. Same exact.
Like 2010 or whatever it was.
All of a sudden, there are people talking about he's a better head coach than Bill Walsh. Because why? Because he got Patrick Mahomes and won a couple championships. I mean, I'm with you, Miss Veronica. I'm tired of close but no cigar, bro. I'm tired. I'm
Okay, so
tired.
we were having this conversation in about 2010 with Andy Reid. It's literally this.
Yeah,
If we went back 12 years, 12, 14 years from now, we went back in a time machine and we moved to Philadelphia, I can guarantee you, granted, there probably wasn't a whole lot of, content creators back then, but I
probably
can
not.
guarantee you the beat writers and everybody else in Philadelphia were saying the exact same things, almost word for word, that we're saying about Kyle now.
Yep, you know damn well he is. And now I will say this: I believe it was the last 2 or 3 years that Andy Reid didn't make the playoffs. So
Yeah, after a while, it just got burnt out. And we're
it's starting
hoping
to
that's
fall
not
apart
what,
in Philadelphia.
yeah, it got
And
too
everything.
much for him at that point.
Yeah. So there was a little bit, yeah. I mean, now, and this is why context is important. Because people, I bet you people are, how the fuck can the Eagles let Andy Reid go? Well, that's why the context. That's why missing the playoffs, I believe, the last 2 or 3 years. That's why these things matter. The context of it matters. I'm saying.
And to go off of what C you're saying, that's the reason why right now those few Rams fans that are out there, they have hope. Why? Because they've gotten they've gotten that Super Bowl. That's why it's not so bad for the Ram fans. It's not so bad for the Chiefs. The Chiefs can go 0-17 next year, and they're going to be all right. You know why? Because they've had 2 Super Bowls recently. We win 1 Super Bowl that we were in, half of this issue goes away because we have that one thing to fall back. Because we haven't gotten that, that's the reason why it hurts. Yeah.
But I'll give this for the difference between Kyle and McVay. Is McVay already had a team ready to rock and roll. Kyle had to build it.
Sure.
So that's why I'll give. Although yes, McVay has the ring, and it was the year that they beat us, all that type of shit and everything like that. But Jared Goff, even though he didn't win it with Jared Goff, but Jared Goff and Todd Gurley and Aaron Donald were all on that team already, and I'm pretty sure there's other players that were on that team. Whitworth or what was his name? The tackle.
Yeah, Whitworth.
They had their CMC, they had their Jimmy G, they had their Nick Bosa, and they had their Trent Williams already.
Man, I forgot about Gurley. He literally dropped off the face of the earth since then.
What happened?
Gurley, he had that one good after that, he literally just disappeared after that Super Bowl. It was just done.
Didn't he go to the Falcons?
He went somewhere, and there was cut like 2 weeks later. It was bad.
Yeah.
Like, he literally just stopped being able to play football. I don't know what. I don't think he was injured. He just stopped being able to play football for whatever reason.
And see, this is why I think the philosophy matters too. Is that, yeah, but let me see. How many years in Sean McVay's tenure have the Yams missed the playoffs?
It's better than Kyle's. I do know that.
I will say this. It is better. I believe the year after they lost the Super Bowl.
That was it. They almost made the playoffs.
He didn't make it?
Yeah. And then he was right back in it again.
Okay. So, I mean, I will say this for Kyle. The last time we were in this position, we did go to the 3 straight NFC championship games, a Super Bowl. And let's be real, if Brock doesn't get his arm ripped off, look, we'll never know. But that Niner team was rocking and rolling. I think if Kyle doesn't win a championship, besides obviously last year's team, who literally walked off the field 3 times with the lead in the Super Bowl, I believe the best Niner team was 2022. We were the hottest team in football. Like I we had forgotten how to lose, Jason. And we were just winning. We were fucking kicking teams' asses. Yeah. I believe the 22 Niners were the best version of the Niners that under Kyle. I will say that.
I would say last year's, but I would love to see those 2 teams play each other.
Yeah, definitely. The game's going to overtime.
Yeah, for sure.
it might very well come out who has the ball last type of situation. I'll give the 22 defense, but over the
24 offense, yeah.
24. I'll give the 22 defense over the 23 offense or defense, but I'll give last year's offense to that 20 versus that 22.
Oh yeah, way better offense.
Yeah, way better offense. All right, brother. I'm gonna message Jamie, so we'll stick around. But all right, y'all, we got to take care of a little bit of a off-air meeting to discuss the rest of the off season, get all those goodies. I don't want to talk about it. We got planned some off season goodies for y'all and everything like that. Final words, Jason.
Well, it's over. This season I'm glad that it's over in the sense that we don't have to worry about anybody else getting injured. No more drama bullshit. And I'm not just saying that from a point of a fan. We had just so much drama off the field with the players, personal lives, all that kind of stuff. And it started the week before the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? With when Forrester's wife passed away. So, I mean, this goes back to the beginning of 2024. I'm glad it's done. I'm glad it's over with. It was just so much bullshit. I mean, the fact that they were even able to hold it together to win 6 games is, when you think about it, low-key pretty fucking impressive. Yes, because they held it together for that, and they were literally falling apart. People passing away. They're dealing with this, more injuries.
Dude, go to Lombardi's Trophy. Listen to Charvarius word. Dude talked about he wakes up in the middle of the night to throw up and everything because losing his.
And you know what?
Like fuck.
But I completely understand it. The way he lost the kid and everything like that, completely. And you know what? He didn't necessarily close the door, but he admitted that, you know what? Had he played at the same level or close to the same level he'd been last year, he prices himself out.
Yeah, he said that.
And so he admits it. And I think he also realizes that maybe other teams aren't going to pay him what he's worth. So maybe, just maybe, he comes back here on a smaller contract.
He said he said he would be open to the idea. But also I was going to say is he talks about he gets PTSD every time he comes back to California. And his wife will not come back here. Or his girl, sorry. Will not come back.
Walking back to that same house, I completely understand it. But like I said, he didn't completely close the door. We'll see if he can, figure it out. I love Caleb Williams. Sure, I do. I like his pretty pink nails, and his little bag. But like I said, it'd be nice to see if, maybe he can find it in him. Because if he comes back somehow, some way, Demo, a Ward that has his head back in the game because he's kind of figured everything out and has dealt with it, and then a maturing Renardo Green, give me that.
Fucking balled out on fucking Sunday.
Exactly. Like I said, so if somehow Charvarius finds it in him to come back, which, like I said, I don't expect, but, he didn't shut the door completely, I would love to see those 3.
Music to my ears. What's up, media? Better late than never.
What right? Angel? Yep.
All right, y'all. All right, Jason. I'll see you in a few seconds.
Yep. Y'all have a good one. 5 for tied to 11. One love, faithful.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Appreciate everybody tuning in this year. I know it's been a rough year. It's finally over. And time to move on to 2025, baby. Woo! All right, y'all. Please remember, the San Francisco 49ers don't always lose a game, but when we do, we're still the best team in NFL history. Stay faithful, my friends.